And welcome back to the 300th edition of your Kingsport Chamber Zone. We've been teasing it the entire show. We have a special interview, special surprise guest interview segment here, don't we?
We're normally the ones asking the questions here on the show, but we took this opportunity to celebrate our show by having a visit with our dear friend Josh Smith with WJHL News Channel 11, where he got to ask us some questions about the show. Take a look.
Usually when I'm on television with these two, they're asking me questions, so this is awesome. Welcome to News Channel 11, you two.
Thank you
It's
for
good to be
having
here.
us.
Thank you for doing this.
Anniversary or 300th episode.
Yes, yeah.
Gracious. That's a milestone for some network television shows that have been canceled like one episode in. You all have made it to 300, so from all of us here at WJHL, congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much.
And now, let's find out how this started. Let's dig deeper.
Find out how we made it this far.
How did it start? Did you think, let's do a little TV show?
No.
Who came up with this?
No. Does anybody even claim responsibility?
I'm not sure they do even after 13 seasons. but way back when, back along 2002, 2003, we thought about starting. Would be great to have a TV show, to promote what we're doing at the Kingsport Chamber. And then Charter, which is now Spectrum Reach, Charter approached us and said, hey, we've got an idea for a TV show. So we kind of were thinking along the same lines. They said, we'd like to do a half-hour show. We'll put you in our studio and go find a co-host, and can you find stuff to talk about? And
that's what they said to you.
Yes.
Because you've been at the chamber for what, since 1812,
Yes, I have. So way before it started. I was with our predecessor.
That's
right.
Yes.
Right. Okay, and you were, having
fresh
fun
out of college.
You went to law school. You began your life as an attorney.
Right.
But you and Bob have been friends for when?
Well, Bob and I think, met probably around 99, which is when I had moved back to Kingsport to start practicing law. And we had just run into each other socially since then. And then when this idea of the TV show came up, he called me, of all people.
You were thinking, creepy.
He completely caught me by surprise.
You want me to be on a little cable show?
Told her I had something I needed to ask her, and we were actually at Betty DeVinny's retirement party at Meadowview, standing in line together. Yeah. It was a long line because of Betty DeVinny.
Everyone would say congrats.
And she said, what did you want to ask me? I said, oh yes, well, I've got you captured for the next 20 minutes.
You're a performer. You're a musician.
Yes, I play the piano.
You are, but come on, you're a performer. So were you nervous about this idea of being on television? Because, I'm still kind of threw up a little bit before each newscast. Do you get nervous, or did you when you first started? Or?
Well, certainly, and if you dig out the VHS tapes from our first few episodes, which my mom would be happy to loan to you if you happen to want to see them, you can definitely tell there was a stiltedness, I think, to what we were doing. Of course, we have a safety net that you don't get to enjoy, which is the fact that we're taped.
Right.
So all of our bloopers, and there are bloopers,
tell me
get
about
edited
the
out.
bloopers. Are there some ones that stand out in your mind?
Oh yes, and they're usually
What's
ours.
your favorite blooper? And I want to start with you, Laura.
So my favorite blooper is probably from our 100th episode. Okay, and we were celebrating that episode at Oak Hill Memorial Park's Funerals and Cremations. Ironically enough,
excuse the irony of that.
Yeah.
And our good friend Jantry Shoup wanted to do something special for us, and we weren't sure what it was, and so we had to trust Jantry that it was going to be something okay for our episode. And so we're standing there to wrap up everything, and Jantry, sort of walks onto the set. We intro him, and he walks onto the set, and he said, so to celebrate your 100th episode, we have a big surprise for you. And that was supposed to be the cue for some people who were standing inside the building to walk out with this beautiful cake that Food City had prepared for us that had our logo on there and happy 100th episode. And so he said a big surprise, and nothing happened. And so Bob and I were just looking at each other and then looking at Jantry.
Surprise?
And
He goes, surprise.
he leans in a little bit closer to the door. He goes, a big surprise. And nothing happens. And so he finally walks up to the door and he opens it up and he yells in there, a big surprise. And they poke their head out and they said, are we supposed to come out now?
Oh no. Oh no.
And so we obviously had to do a retake. And
blooper.
The big surprise was not quite the big surprise, but it was still fun.
You knew a blooper would have to involve Jantry,
Of
right?
course.
Yes,
And humorous as well. How about you?
We were at Eastman Credit Union, and we were wrapping up the show, and as one of the interview segments on that show, we were talking about the Animile that was coming up. That's the dog race and human race right before the Santa train arrives in Kingsport, and we had our good friend
Natalie Whitlock.
Natalie Whitlock. Natalie Whitlock on the show, and we had Kara Dykstra, who was the Move to Kingsport director at the time. They were on there with their dogs. And then we were closing the show, and they still had their dogs, and one was a lab, and the other
Yes.
one was a little,
A
a small dog.
not a
small
beagle,
dog.
but
Yeah,
a
basset hound.
Basset
Yeah,
hound. Thank you.
basset
It was a
hound.
basset hound.
And they were very calm and tame, and she'd put the lab that was kind of unruly already in the car. So this was the calm lab. We were sitting there closing the show, and all of a sudden you heard grrr, and then a grrr,
Oh, no.
and it got louder and louder, and then all of a sudden full out barking and jumping and fighting.
Lunging
and,
at
and
each
lunging
other
at
in
each
front of
other, and-
us.
And it's usually us that's doing that. So this time we had the puppies on. So that was a memorable moment.
You know, as we record this, I know you have to fit this into a hole in
Yeah.
your show, and I'm kind of just going rogue on you now because I'm going to blow past
Yeah.
our time and keep asking you a couple more questions. Rapid fire.
Yeah.
Sure.
How do you come up with the topics? Because I watch your shows and I'm thinking everybody's probably wanted to get onto your show, and how do you choose?
I'll defer to Bob, and I'll just have to offer up the fact that anything that you see on that show is really the makings of Bob, because he makes it. He does everything. I just have to show up.
Yep.
So I don't make.
And keep you from getting sued.
I take absolutely no credit. I can take absolutely no credit
Yes,
for all of the wonderful things on the show.
Well, while she's saying that, let me compliment her too quickly. One, we do have her on because she's an attorney. We thought we'd get sued at some
Yeah,
point.
at
So
some
the real
point.
reason I asked her. But Laura has volunteered. She's a volunteer. I get paid to do this.
Right.
Laura's a volunteer. She's shown up for every show, 13 seasons. We do it every 2 weeks. You know, she reads the script. She takes 3 or 4 hours out of her day, every week to do this show. So she's just the ultimate volunteer. We hold up to all of our rest of our volunteers. We could not do this without her. But the show is easy. We have so much going on in Kingsport,
You
Josh.
do.
All the growth and development. We have a lot of requests to be on there, but it gives us a chance to promote the Kingsport Chamber, our
Right.
programs, news and events, the community, so many organizations and arts, and all the developments and initiatives in the city. So we're never short on lack of topics.
And I will say this as we close, is I am amazed every time I'm near your show, every time I see your show, there is a spirit in that city, in your city, in our city, that is really amazing. It's not exclusive, and it's a big umbrella. You bring the whole Tri-Cities in.
Sure.
But that seems to be the backbone of this show. Would you say that's true?
Oh,
That it's
it's-
that love of place?
Absolutely. It's so easy for us. It's so easy to be excited about everything that's happening in Kingsport, because we do love Kingsport, and it has so much to offer, and it has given so much to us. It's the whole concept of community trusteeship. We have to give back to it in order to allow it to perpetuate to be the wonderful place that it is.
Okay, I'll end on this note. You should be paid. That's all there is to it. And I have an agent. I'll let you know. I'll give you his card
Perfect.
after.
Thank
Because you should be paid. Congratulations, you
Thank you.
guys. I
Thank you
want to
so much.
say 300 is remarkable.
Thank you.
And keep on going. Keep it positive. I love that that's what you're doing. And thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Well, thank you.
Well, thanks,
Thank you.
Josh.
And when you
appreciate
do
it.
400,
Yes.
will you let me be on that show?
We'll be
too?
back over here again.
Yeah,
promise?
absolutely.
You and
Promise.
Sarah are always some of our favorite guests.
Yes.
We always love having you on. So thanks for doing this.
We enjoy being on your show too. It's crazy. All right,
you.
happy 300.
Thank you.
And
Thank
stay
you,
with
my
us,
friend.
everybody. More of the 300th episode of Chamber Zone in just a moment.